welcome to Cook and Impress with Bina. Today I'm going to show you how to make a quick vegetable stir fry. And so let's start with showing you exactly what ingredients you're going to need. I've got 350 grams of noodles. You can use vegetarian noodles which are egg-free, available from supermarkets, or the normal noodles. I've got about 300 grams of bean sprouts, about 250 grams of white cabbage, half of each of the colored peppers, which is red, green and yellow, 1 onion, 2 medium carrots, about 100 grams of sweet corn, and about 150 grams of mushrooms. You can obviously add more or less of the ingredients here that I've shown you according to your taste. Okay, added to that you've got some ginger, some garlic, some coriander and some sauces which I'll explain as we go through the recipe. Right, let's start cooking. So I'm going to put the wok on medium heat. That's it, get quite warm. And while that's getting warm, we can put in our oil. I'm using sunflower oil, which is fine. So you can put about 4 tablespoons for the amount that we've got here today, because we want the vegetables to be fried and be a bit crispy. Okay, there we go. To that I'm going to add a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and as you can see it's already fluttering and making a bit of a nice noise. Okay, we're going to start with frying the onions, and I've used 1 medium-sized onion there, chopped in slices. We want the vegetables to be crisp, so we're not going to over-suit the onions. And while the onions are suiting, I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic, which is again optional, a teaspoon, about half a teaspoon of ginger. I think you only need to fry it for a minute because, like I said, we want our vegetables to be crisp. Very quickly I'm going to add the carrots. I've got about 2 medium carrots there which I've sliced. And because they take longest to cook, we need to put them in first. We want our stir fry to look colourful, and hence we're using all different vegetables in there to make it more colourful. You could use baby corn instead of sweet corn seeds, but it's what you have available. You know, you don't have to be specific about the kind of vegetables you use, because you know, it's a quick and easy recipe. The amount that we've got here will feed about 5 adults, and you can use this as a main dish or you know, a lunchtime snack. Right, we've had a minute and a bit, I think. It's now time to put in our cabbage. I've got 250 grams here, as mentioned earlier. Put that in. Again, give it a good stir, give it a good mix round. Beautiful. Cabbage usually doesn't take long to cook, so again we're going to give this mixture about 2 minutes. At this point we can add our peppers, our mixed peppers, which we've sliced very finely. And as you can see, it's looking colourful already. Okay, make sure your heat is constant at medium. Right. Okay, well, I think with the peppers we're going to give it another minute or so the peppers are a bit crispy and slightly chewy. Okay, we're ready to put in our sweet corn. I'm using frozen sweet corn, but like I said, you could at this stage use some baby corn. And there's about 120 grams or so of the sweet corn that I've put in. You could add more or less depending on the taste of vegetables that you like. Right, got mushrooms to add in. Okay, the reason I'm adding the mushrooms quite late is because the mushrooms cook very quickly, and you know, if you put them in very early, they'll start soaking up, and they'll really cook very quick, and you know, your texture will be quite soggy when you come to eating your stir fry. Right, so we're going to allow this to cook for a minute or so. And finally, I'm going to put in my bean sprouts. Like I said, there's about 300 grams of bean sprouts that I've put in. And again, the bean sprouts will cook very quickly. You need to keep tossing and turning this mixture, because otherwise your bean sprouts will get really soggy and you won't get the crispiness that you would want with your vegetarian stir fry. Okay, there we go. While that's cooking, I'm going to put in my spices at this stage. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I like to put in a pinch of turmeric because it's quite healthy, and again you get that beautiful colour as well. And again, that's optional, you don't have to put turmeric. I'm also going to put in some fresh coriander. This gives it a beautiful flavour with the stir fry. Okay, so we mix again. Make sure that your spices that you put in, the salt, is evenly spread. Okay. Right, finally I'm going to add, I've got a Sherwood's black bean stir fry sauce, so I'm going to, and there's about 100 grams in them, and I'm going to use all of it, and that's equivalent, if you buy a jar of the black bean sauce, it comes to approximately 2, 3, I'd say about 4 tablespoons. So we've got about 4 tablespoons of black bean sauce. And like I said, you can buy a jar of it if you cook stir fry often, or you can just have little sachets. Purchase little sachets, so it keeps the sauce quite fresh. Okay, there we go. Again, make sure your heat is constant and you're constantly stirring your vegetables to get the even temperature, so that they mix well. Right, finally I'm going to add some dark soy sauce. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons. It is fairly sufficient. Okay, so got 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. And again, let's mix this well. As you can see, the mixture is cooking quite well. The vegetables are done, and you don't want the vegetables to soak. You want them to be tender, which I'll show you in a minute. There we go. There's our stir. Right. Fine. I'm going to give it a quick taste. Make sure that the vegetables taste well. So let's take vegetables out and see. Perfect. The salt is sufficient, the sauces are perfectly well blended in, and we don't need any more spices to add. Right, so finally we're now ready to put in our noodles. Like I said, I've got about 350 grams of noodles which I've boiled beforehand. I'm going to mix them in now. There we go. Bring the mixture in right from the bottom. So get your mixing spoon right at the bottom. Bring those vegetables up so we can get our noodles to mix in very well and easily. Okay. Okay, at this stage we can now turn down our heat. Right, so we're going to turn off our gas now. And it's ready to be served. So right, there we are. Stir fry ready. Tidy up our bowl to be served in. Let's put it on the shelf there. At this stage, if you want to put in a bit of a red chili sauce, you can do. Just drizzle some around. And again, this is optional. If you feel you don't want to add chili sauce to it and you just want it to a mild sauce, you can do. Right, we are now ready to impress our guests with this lovely vegetarian stir fry. I hope I have inspired you to make this or to cook this quick dish today. Thank you for watching my video, and keep a lookout for the forthcoming ones. I'm sure they're going to be more exciting. Thank you.